Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you share any video, please share this one. I just got finished watching the RTD live stream for today, Rethinking the Dollar with Michael. And he went over this, and I am sharing this. I am doing my own video because this has to be spread out. I'm going to read this to you verbatim because that's how important it is. But you're already looking at the title. It says, The WHO's Global Power Grab, Update on the Health Crisis Treaty. Now, wait till you hear what's in this. This is a complete destruction of national sovereignty of almost every single country in the world to be ruled by one party, by one entity, and that's WHO. No, not who's on first, WHO. WHO. No joke. The World Health Organization plans potentially dangerous amendments to international health regulations at the World Health Assembly number 75 between May 22nd and 28th of this year. The amendments recommended by this administration here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen, are dangerous intrusions on the sovereignty of the nations of the world. And when they say here the nations of the world, they mean the nations of the world. I think there's only maybe 4 nations that are excluded. The package, dubbed the Health Crisis Treaty, threatens mandatory health crisis responses, meaning that if there is another health crisis, that the WHO is in charge of telling whatever country it wants, the 194 or so country that's under this treaty, what they can and cannot do without the people's consent. This is an organization that has not been voted into power by any individual nation, by their people. Yet they will be able to dictate what we do and can't do. Now, I know that many people around the world, not just here in the U.S., have the mindset that what we've been going through, or the health crisis that we've gone through, I don't even know if it's over yet or not, that there was some nefarious things being done. Now, whether that's true or false, it doesn't really matter. But what matters is this, ladies and gentlemen. Should the sovereignty of any nation be under the control of anyone else than the people within that nation? That is the question here. And what they're saying here in this first paragraph, without saying it, is that they will be in control of any nation and every nation during the next health crisis. It is a new treaty, they say. In essence, it is a completely new treaty awarding the WHO extraordinary powers over the nations of the world. It comes disguised as amendments to an existing treaty, so that ratification is not required by sovereign nations. Do you get that? It comes as an amendment, as a fix, as an add-on to an existing treaty. That way, we the people don't get to decide whether we want to go with it or not. The amendments appear to give global authority over nations to the Director General. And the Director General, I believe his name is Taternos or something like that. The same guy that was in charge during the last debacle, ladies and gentlemen. The same guy that is under the thumb of the leadership in China. That same person. In my opinion, everything that I'm telling you here, ladies and gentlemen, except for what I read, is just my opinion alone. Okay? I don't want to get sued by anyone. I don't want someone in the internet to come after me and try to sue me because the internet is crazy. And I think we could all agree on that. All right? So anyone out there that's listening who has a law degree, this is all my opinion. Anything outside of what I read here from this essay or this article. The WHO requests increased surveillance heading toward a One Health approach, which is a direct imposition of sovereignty. A 48-hour time period to respond to the WHO if they declare a public health emergency, and if you don't respond, it is assumed that you agree to their involvement. In other words, the WHO may make unilateral decisions about health in your country. So if the WHO comes out and says this health crisis is going on, and our nation, all right, the representative of our nation does not respond to the WHO within 48 hours, then they get to take whatever actions they want on our behalf, ladies and gentlemen. Regional directors can also declare health emergencies of regional concern as well as intermediate emergencies. They will have all the power. All they have to do is come up with the next crisis, whatever they want it to be, whatever they want to call it, and all that the puppet who's installed in our leadership position here in the United States has to do is nothing. Has to do nothing. And it gives them all of the authority to do whatever they want. There will be a deployment of expert teams. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. There will be a deployment of expert teams and healthcare workers who will be brought into your country. Almost any country can claim to be an affected party. They agreed to have an emergency committee and their deliberations on whether you have a public health emergency or are not going to be shared with other member states. In other words, shared with representatives, but not with the public. There is a compliance committee which will have investigative power within each country. It will impact on sovereignty. The Director General makes these decisions. It used to say in consultation with member states, but that part has been struck off. So this one person is going to be able to make these decisions. This right here, this story that I'm reading you right here, should be the most talked about thing on the internet, on news channels, in the entire world. But everyone's worrying about who Will Smith slapped. Everyone's worrying about Johnny Depp's trial. Everyone's worrying about everything that the mainstream media puts out there for them to worry about. They're worrying about fires. They're worrying about all of these things. And I'm not saying that some of those things are not worth worrying about. The slap and the trial, who cares? The fires, yes, because that affects our country. But this should be the story that is being talked about most worldwide, not just in one country. In an April video, the Pulse's Joe Martino interviews Shabnam Palesa Mohammed, a member of the steering committee of the World Council for Health, who gives a startling account to a toxic health crisis treaty that would come under the guise of protecting world health. And isn't that what it's always about, ladies and gentlemen? It's for your safety. It is for your safety. It would not require ratification in home countries, but could rob 195 countries of their sovereignty. I was wrong. It's not 194, it's 195. The WHO, at their World Health Assembly on May 22nd to 28 of this year, will propose a health crisis treaty. The stated purpose is to prevent another health crisis. In execution, from the little we know about it, the treaty gives the WHO inordinate amount of power to make decisions in sovereign countries as to how people live and how they deal with health crises, from lockdowns to mandates over treatments. The recommendations came from this administration here in the United States of America. I said once, a while back, that the thing that scares me about having a war the most, meaning about the United States being at war with another country the most, like a kinetic war, is that, in my opinion, those people in charge of making the decisions would deliberately make decisions that would cause us to lose. Because our government, ladies and gentlemen, is owned by other entities. And you can fill in the blank as to who it's owned by. You know, it's a hell of a shame. It's what it is. It's a hell of a shame that Abraham Lincoln was right. That when the United States goes down, it will finally go down from within. That it will be those from within that destroy us. And here it says, ladies and gentlemen, in an open letter on the WHO's Health Crisis Treaty, the World Council for Health writes in part, quote, "The proposed WHO agreement is unnecessary, and it is a threat to sovereignty and inalienable rights. It increases the WHO's suffocating power to declare unjustified health crises, impose dehumanizing lockdowns, and enforce expensive, unsafe, and ineffective treatments against the will of the people. The WHO appears to want to push the treaty through quickly without public participation and input. Really? Well, that's surprising that they don't want the public's input, that they don't want to let the public know that they will have full control of their sovereignty no matter what country they live in, as long as the WHO decides what is and what is not a health crisis. Can you just imagine that, ladies and gentlemen? That you, sitting in the United States of America, supposedly the freest nation in the world, okay, which now it does seem to be the freest nation in the world, maybe with the exception of 2 or 3 or 4. But could you imagine living in the United States of America and having a foreign entity tell you when you can and can't go outside, what you can and can't put in your body? They continue to say here, it is undemocratic, it is unconstitutional, and therefore it makes the treaty invalid and unlawful. She also made note of the many WHO health policy failures due to their conflicts of interest. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I say. And, things will come to a clash eventually. But I think that the worst thing that can happen for the WHO and for anyone that is authorizing that this be okay, anyone from our government authorizing that this be okay, worst thing that can happen is that they go through with it. Because the day will come, if they go through with this, the day will come where the Second Amendment will be used for the purpose that it was intended for. And I'm not saying that because I want it to happen. I don't. I want to live a peaceful life. I want to mind my own business. I want to go do my payday preps. But it seems that not only does our government want to intrude in every single thing we do on a daily basis, they want to track everything we do, everything we say. Goodness gracious. I told my wife, I said, one day I may have to leave. Because one day if things get bad enough, it's already documented how I feel. And one day it may come to that. But right now, putting this message out is so much more important. Because in my opinion, it's our country that's at stake. This cannot be allowed to happen. And if it happens, then ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you have enough oil. Make sure that you have enough cleaning cloth and cleaning rods to make sure that you keep your freedom tools clean, maintained. Because one day, ladies and gentlemen, history has shown us time and time again that governments cannot have too much power. That the more they have, the more they want. And unfortunately, I believe that within a generation, maybe 2 at the most, we will be calling this nation by a different name. Maybe the United States, these United States of America 2, or something like that. The rule change includes dangerous amendments, 13 of them. Investigative reporter Leo H. reports that these amendments will not require approval by 2/3 of the United States Senate. It's not called a treaty since it's an amendment. A treaty we already approved. If they are approved as submitted by the United States by a simple majority of 194 countries of the World Health Assembly countries, these amendments would enter into force as international law just 6 months later. So it would be in November of 2022 this year. The details of this are not crystal clear. Goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave the link to this on a pinned comment. Thank you very much to you, Michael, at Rethinking the Dollar. Like I said, this, ladies and gentlemen, just like Michael said, spread this message. If you have a YouTube channel, go to this link and read this and do a video about this for your channel and put it out. because we all need to put this out. We all need to know about this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we all need to know about this. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. All right. If Michael reached 50,000 views, I'm not sure how many views he's got on that video that he did, but if he reached 50,000, hopefully I can reach a few thousand as well. I mean, I don't know how many people are interested in preserving their freedoms. I don't know how many people are. You know, I don't know anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if people want to be free. Maybe it's something that they just say. So I don't know how many views this will get. Probably get like 5,000 or 6,000 views. I don't know. But if everyone, no matter how big or small your channel is, if everyone puts this out and put a dramatic title on it or something so people can listen. If everyone puts this out, maybe it'll make a difference. I don't know that it will anymore. I almost have a feeling that society is too far gone. But anyways, you know, I know I'm being a little pessimistic there, but it's just the reality really when I look around and see what people's interests really are. Having said that, I hope that you got something out of this. All right, please share this, and if you have a YouTube channel, please put this up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen. Don't be afraid. I've found my purpose in life. All right, besides my family, of course, that's the biggest purpose that I have in life. It's my family. All right, but I've found my purpose in life, and that is to put out information. To put out information. And hopefully people will listen, and hopefully they will validate that information, and they will take action on it. Okay? Because when it comes down to it, if it helps you at a personal level, then it also helps your community. It also helps your family. Because every person that any bit of information helps out at a personal level, all right, it's exponential. It goes all the way up to the entire country. Because whatever actions you take really affect a lot more people than just your immediate self, your family, your community. It affects a lot more people. So please put this message out. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless you all.